Hey guys, Mark DeSalvo here. I'm with Lee today, and we're going to talk about bench pressing and every reason why people have told me in the past why you can't do it and how you overcome that. So, the number one thing I think I hear from people who tell me, oh, I can't bench press, is that their shoulders hurt. They always tell me they blew out a shoulder, tore something, hurt something. Basically, if that's happening to you and you are not somebody with an elite total or we're chasing world records in powerlifting, you were doing something very wrong, and we need to fix that. So that's my number one cue for you guys today to pick up is when you are bench pressing, you need to use your back. So what does that mean? Using your back while you're bench pressing basically means you need to be very stable through the torso if you expect to push and display power. One of the best coaches of all time, Charles Poliquin, always used to say you can't shoot a cannon out of a canoe. So your body, literally being the vessel delivering the power, cannot be a canoe. It has to be a battleship. So you have to keep your back really tight. So the way you do this is you need to make sure you can get your shoulders into a simultaneous depression and a bit of a retraction so it elevates your sternum. So I'm going to show you guys what I mean here using Lee. He's going to show you how to line up for that. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to have him set up in a way that will help you wind up your back. So Lee, you can lay down on the bench and set up like you're going to bench press. So one thing you're going to notice is that as he's getting set, he's going to eventually get into a place where he can get tight in his back. So basically he started behind the bar and he wound himself under the bar. So in other words, his eyes were behind the bar, and once he made his grip that he liked, he got into place by putting his eyes now like right in line with the bar. Well, another thing he's doing is he's shoving his shoulders down while also flexing his lats. So if your lats are soft, so go ahead and tighten up more there. If your there you go. If your lats are soft, have a buddy do it to you, someone you like. Make sure that you are flexing your lats. Number two, you want to make sure that your elbows are tucked, that you don't want them to be out. So that's the other thing, is that you need your back tight and your elbows tucked. And at that point, you're always going to be using your back. So I'm going to have Lee unrack it from here, and he's going to take a rep. And if you're doing it right, it will look like this. His elbows have never flared. We'll take another rep real quick. Good, and we'll bring it back. So, as you can see there, it was like clockwork. He was really tight in the back. His elbows were in place. They came down. He came back up. Nothing was lost. Another big thing that will hurt people's shoulders or will get in the way of a successful bench press or a pain-free bench press is losing it at the bottom. So what do I mean by that? In other words, people will take it so low that, in other words, their shoulders will rotate inwards. They lose that tension in that upper back, and they just lose all of their power, so they're almost swiveling off their chest. So unless you're wearing some type of shirt or assistive gear, there's no reason to load it up like that. You want to stay tight. You want the eccentric portion of the bench press to look just like the concentric. In other words, the wind up should look just like the pitch. If it was being rewound and fast forwarded, it would look exactly the same. So I'm going to have Lee take another one here real quick here to show you guys what that means or what that looks like. So he's going to lower it and bring it back up, and it's going to look exactly the same. And as you notice, even if he's pausing at the bottom, he's not losing, and you can come up, he's not losing any tension. His shoulders don't swivel, and you can bring it back. So that's an important thing. That torso stiffness, that tightness, building that battleship is the number one reason why anything will hurt while you're bench pressing. The last thing I want to go over with you guys is how to use your triceps a little bit more in the bench press. Now, a lot of times people will typically think of the bench press like it's a big pec developer. And sure, there's a big pec component to the bench press. But if you hope to be getting stronger from the bench press over the long term, especially as a combat athlete, as a non-powerlifter, and that's a very important distinction, you're going to want to put yourself in the best position possible. And as grapplers, you should understand and already know that the whole position submission thing, you need to be in a good position in order to exhibit the most power, and you're also going to be able to stay healthiest the longest when you're able to do that. So the last thing I want to go over with you guys is how to use your triceps a little bit more in the bench press. Probably another reason that your shoulders, or God forbid you blew a pec out, one of the reasons that might have happened is because you took a bench press grip that was way too wide for you. What I'm going to recommend in general for you guys, especially if you're going to be doing this new program, is you take a more narrow grip bench press. And the way I would do that is when you line up to take your bench press, I would find the edge of the knurling. So the rough part on the bar, the inner edge of the knurling should be your start point. And you're going to put your thumb at the edge of that knurling, if you can see what I'm doing, and then you're going to close your hand and remove your thumb. So that space from hand to the edge of the knurling is where you should start from. Now that's not a perfect formula for everybody. You could go shoulder width and work your way out in finger lengths. I'll have Lee show you real quick so we can kind of find his optimal distance. He's pretty good at using his triceps in the bench press more. So as you can see, he put his thumbs on the end of the knurl. He has his hand in position. So that, for Lee in particular, if he sets up, go ahead and unrack it real quick. You don't have to actually bench. So if he unracks it, I wouldn't really want him any farther than this. Like, this is actually kind of the edge of far, or acceptably far. Any farther than this is going to be way too much pec and way too little tricep, so you can rack it again. So the whole idea, and you're good, I won't make you lay down there. So the whole idea behind bench pressing and using the big lifts to get you stronger for a sport like jiu-jitsu is that we're looking for some type of carryover. And I'm not talking about like something super sport specific. I just mean if you're on the weaker side and you need to be stronger, this is one of the most effective ways to just bring up your strength in a short amount of time, especially if you don't have a lot of lifting experience. But you want to make sure you do it with good technique. And if you take these 3 cues plus the rest that you'll find within Dark Horse Advanced Jiu-Jitsu Strength, you will be lifting very successfully, and I think you'll be very happy. So you can hit me up anytime at Mark DeSalvo or at Fight Camp Conditioning. Hope to have you on board soon. Take care, everybody. Thanks, Lee.